discussing the manner of determination of input tax credit in respect of capital goods and reversals thereof. Now, fundamentally what we will be discussing is here, in case if any capital goods, say capital goods are there, they are used for effecting taxable supplies, as well as what? Exempt supplies. Taxable supplies as well as what? Exempt supplies. Then how the apportionment of credit will be made, that will be discussed by us in this particular rule 43. Now it's very simple. See, in case if any capital goods are exclusively used, for effecting say exempt supplies or for non-business use, if they are used exclusively for say effecting exempt supplies or for non-business use, then the amount of input tax will not be credited to the electronic credit ledger. Will not be credited to what? The electronic credit ledger. It's logical. Since we are using the capital goods exclusively for effecting exempt supplies, or the same are used for non-business purposes, the amount of ITC will not be credited where? In the electronic credit ledger. The amount of the input tax credit will not be credited where? In the electronic credit ledger. Then the next one is the capital goods which are say exclusively used for effecting taxable supplies. Capital goods are exclusively used for effecting what? Taxable supplies, including zero rated supplies. So if we are using the capital goods exclusively for effecting the taxable supplies, including the zero rated supplies, the amount of input tax credit, input tax will be what? Credited to the electronic credit ledger. Now see, say you have purchased capital goods A. On which the value is, assessable value is rupees say 10 lakhs. Rupees 10 lakhs. And GST is paid at rate of 18%. That is 1,80,000 rupees. And the same is used exclusively for effecting the exempt supplies. You won't be crediting the amount in the electronic credit ledger. Logically, you won't be entitled to take the credit. Say capital goods B, the same is exclusively used for effecting taxable supplies. It is exclusively used for effecting taxable supplies. The assessable value is rupees 10, say 15 lakhs, and the GST paid at rate of 18% is 2,70,000 rupees. Now this 2,70,000 rupees will be credited to क्या? Electronic credit ledger. That is logically correct because it is used for effecting, say, taxable supplies. Now in case if any capital goods are used for effecting taxable as well as exempt supplies. Taxable as well as what? Exempt supplies. Now, what happens is the amount of input tax attributable to such capital goods will be credited in electronic credit ledger. But since they are used for effecting taxable as well as exempt supplies, and here basically the life of capital goods is taken क्या? It extends to 5 years from the date of invoice. 5 years from the date of invoice, that the life of the capital goods is, say, 60 months. Now this is denoted as, say, A. This is denoted as A, whatever is the input tax credit, which has been attributable to such capital goods. Now you find out what the monthly credit. Say, we have purchased one capital goods for 20 lakh rupees. C, capital goods C is purchased for 20 lakh rupees. We have paid GST at rate of 18% of the same. So 3,60,000 is the GST paid. Now life of capital goods is what? Say 5 years from the date of invoice. So 3,60,000 will be divided by what? 60. 3,60,000. The same will be divided by 60 to find out the monthly credit. Monthly credit is how much? That is क्या? 3,60,000 divided by 60. 6,000 is a monthly credit. So likewise for every machine which is used commonly, you will aggregate the same and find out in aggregate what is the monthly credit. Then you have to reverse the monthly credit. That is what? The value of the exempt supplies, reversal amount will be value of exempt supplies during the tax period. Upon total turnover in the state or union territory in the tax period. Into what? The TM. Say the value of exempt supply during the tax period is 5 lakh rupees. And the total turnover is 15 lakh rupees during the tax period. And we have found out 6,000 is the monthly credit. So reversal amount will be how much? 2,000 rupees. This rupees 2,000 will be added to the output tax liability of the tax period. The same will be added to the output tax liability of the tax period. So logically, are you getting? Say in case you have purchased any capital goods which are exclusively used, they are exclusively used for effecting the exempt supplies. or say are used for non-business purposes. So logically you will not be entitled to take the credit on the same. So no credit will be taken on the same. The second one is, if any capital goods are purchased during the tax period and they are used for effecting the taxable supplies, including zero rated supplies. In that particular circumstance, whatever is the amount of input tax, the same will be admissible as credit and will be credited where? In the electronic credit ledger. Then capital goods which are purchased during the tax period and they are used for effecting the taxable supplies as well as exempt supplies. Whatever the amount of input tax attributable to those capital goods, the same will be credited where? In the electronic credit ledger. But since they are used for effecting exempt supplies, we want to reverse also. We have to reverse also. So in this particular circumstance, how much amount you will reverse? So you will take the input tax, take the life of the capital goods, stands up to 5 years from the date of invoice. So life is 5 years means it is 60 months, 5 years, yani 60 months. You will find out the monthly credit. Monthly credit will be how much? 3,60,000 if the amount of input tax is involved is this, divided by 60. That is 6,000 rupees. So you will be required to reverse this amount of monthly credit which is attributable to exempt supplies by the following formula. That is what? This is the amount of reversal. T is equal to value of exempt supplies E. F is the total turnover in the state or the union territory in the tax period into TM. Now what happens is, in case if capital goods were purchased and were used exclusively for effecting, they were used exclusively for effecting exempt supplies. They were used exclusively for effecting what? The exempt supplies. They were used exclusively for effecting the exempt supplies. And now they are used for effecting taxable supplies also. They were used, now they are used for effecting taxable supplies also after say 5 months. They are used for effecting taxable supplies also. Now what they are saying is, say we have purchased capital goods D 5 months before. Capital goods D were purchased, say 5 months before. The value was rupees 5 lakh. GST was paid at rate of 18%. That is 90,000 rupees. So at the time of purchase, whether you have taken any amount as credit, you won't have taken because it was exclusively used initially for effecting exempt supplies. So you won't have taken any credit. Now with effect from what 1/4/2020, they have amended a rule. I will be telling you the difference. What is the amendment has been carried out. Now here, they say that whatever is the amount of input tax in respect of that capital goods, the amount of, with effect from 1/4/2020, the amount of input tax in respect of capital goods will be credited where? To electronic credit ledger and aggregated with A. Aggregated with A. So now what happens is, this 90,000 rupees will also be added where? To the common credit. This 90,000 rupees, the same will be credited where? In the electronic credit ledger and will be added to the common credit. But for a period of 5 months, they were used exclusively for effecting exempt supplies. Therefore, now they are stating from with effect from 1/4/2020, we will be taking the amount of credit at rate of 5% per quarter or part thereof. 5% per quarter or part thereof. Amount of credit taking at the input tax at rate of 5% per quarter or part thereof. Same will be added. Same will be added to output tax liability. For which period? 5% per quarter per part thereof. When the said capital goods were exclusively used for effecting what? Exempt supplies. So in our case, how much was the input tax involved here? Input tax involved was 90,000 rupees into 5%. Into how many quarters they have been used? 5 months. 3 months one quarter and 3 months other quarter. Part thereof, as soon as it is part thereof, so it's 2 quarters. So this much amount will also be added when in the output tax liability. Where? In the output tax liability in that particular tax period. 90,000 into 5% into what? 2 quarters. That is 9,000 rupees will be added in the output tax liability. ₹9,000, the same will be added in the output tax liability. Earlier what was happening? Prior to 1/4/2020, the amount of input tax, the amount of what? The input tax on the capital goods as reduced by 5% per quarter or part thereof of use. 5% per quarter or part thereof for the period when they were exclusively used for effecting exempt supplies. For effecting what? Exempt supplies will be credited to electronic credit ledger. So here in our case, 90,000 was the amount of input tax. Rupees 90,000 was the amount of input tax. From that, what will be reduced? 5% per quarter or part thereof. So here 9,000 would be reduced and 81,000 will be credited where? Credited in electronic credit ledger. After 1/4/2020 on or after 1/4/2020 on or after 1/4/2020, what you have to see? The amount of input tax credit claimed, the amount of input tax credit that is 90,000 rupees, amount of input tax that is 90,000 rupees will be credited in electronic credit ledger. And rupees 9,000 rupees 9,000 will be added where? In the output tax liability. There 9,000 was reduced and 81,000 was credited. Here 90,000 will be credited and 9,000 will be added in the output tax liability. Now what happens now is, when this 90,000 is credited, it's the same is denoted as A, and the earlier A was how much? When the common credit was how much earlier? That was, say, 3,60,000. In this 3,60,000 will is also the common credit. So it will be now 4,50,000. The same will be divided by 60. Now how much it is? Monthly credit will be worked out. Common monthly credit 4,50,000 plus 90,000. Sorry, 4,50,000 divided by 60. That is what? 7,500 rupees. 7,500 rupees the monthly credit, TM monthly. Reversal amount will be 7,500 into the value of exempt supply upon turnover in the state. Value of exempt supplies in our case was 5 lakh rupees, and turnover in the state and union or state union territory is 15 lakh rupees. So it will be 7,500. 2,500 rupees reversal will be there. 2,500 reversal will be there. So this way, if earlier the capital goods were used exclusively for effecting, earlier the capital goods were used for exclusively for effecting exempt supplies. Now they are used for effecting kya? Taxable supplies. What happens is, you find out the whatever amount of input tax credit which has been paid as per the invoice, the same has been paid. The same will be credited where? In the electronic credit ledger, and 5% per quarter or part thereof, the said amount will be worked out for the period for which the capital goods were exclusively used for effecting the exempt supplies, and it will be added to the output tax liability. Then it may so happen, say, capital goods initially purchased for effecting taxable supplies. Initially purchased for effecting a taxable supplies, and now they are used, also for exempt supplies. They are now used also for what? Exempt supplies. Initially they were purchased for effecting taxable supplies. Say we have purchased capital goods for rupees 40 lakhs and paid GST at rate of 18%, 7,20,000. So this was used for effecting what? Taxable supplies. So this amount of 7,20,000 rupees has already been credited, to electronic credit ledger, at a time of purchase. The same has been credited where? In the electronic credit ledger at the time of purchase. Now it is used for what purpose? Now it is used for effecting exempt supplies also. So with effect from 1/4/2020, the interpretation works out in this manner only, कि whatever input tax credit claimed in respect of the said capital goods, whose useful life remains, basically. Useful life is taken 60 months from the date of invoice, will be credited where? Will be added. It's already been credited, will be added to A. So now our A will become how much? Our A will become kya? 90,360, 90,000 360 plus this was A, this was A, and this was A. Plus क्या? 7,20,000. And we will aggregate the A, 90,000 plus 360 plus 7,20,000. That works out to be 11 lakh and 70,000. And then we will find out the monthly credit. Divided by 60, that is 19,500. Then we will be required to reverse 19,500 into 5 lakhs. That was the value of exempt supplies upon total turnover in the state or union territory. Now this is happening on or after 1/4/2020. Now what was prior to 1/4/2020? Prior to 1/4/2020, it was the amount of input tax how much amount of input tax? That is here in our case it is what? 7,20,000 as reduced by 5% per quarter or part thereof of use. For which period? For tax, when it was used exclusively for taxable supplies. When it was exclusively used for क्या? Taxable supplies. 5% per quarter or part thereof. Remaining amount will be added to common credit. So say if this particular capital goods were used for a period of say 1 year and 15 months exclusively for effecting taxable supplies. So how many quarters it will be? For in 1 year there are 4 quarters and 15 months part thereof. It's 5 quarters. So 5 quarters into 7,20,000. 5 quarters into क्या? 7,20,000. That works out to be how much? 5% per quarter. So 7,20,000 into 5% into 5. 1,80,000. 7,20,000 into 5% into 5. That is 1,80,000. So here 720 minus 180 earlier prior to that 1/4/2020. 720 minus 180. That is क्या? 5,40,000 rupees will be added to A. So reversal amount would be lower. But now, on or after 1/4/2020, our reversal amount will increase to this extent because 720 is added in the common credit. So now we'll be discussing this particular rule. This was the basic idea which you have learnt. This is rule 43. Rule 43 is dealing with what? Apportionment of credit. Rule 43 is dealing with apportionment of credit, block credit in this apportionment of credit in respect of क्या? Capital goods. That is rule basically manner of determination. Manner of determination of input tax credit. Manner of determination of input tax credit in respect of capital goods and reversals thereof in certain cases. Manner of determination of input tax credit in respect of capital goods and reversals thereof in certain cases. We'll be discussing this rule now. Now 43(1) is stating what? The attribution of credit on capital goods used partly for business and partly for non-business purpose, partly for effecting taxable supplies and partly for exempt supplies. So the input tax credit in respect of capital goods. The input tax credit in respect of capital goods being partly used for purpose of business, being partly used for purpose of business and partly for other purpose, partly used for business and partly for other purpose, or partly used for effecting taxable supplies, including zero rated supplies, and partly for effecting exempt supplies. So capital goods, they are used partly for business, partly for non-business use, as well as in business they may use for what? Effecting exempt supplies, or it may be used for effecting taxable supplies, including zero rated supplies. Including क्या? Zero rated supplies. So the input tax credit in respect of capital goods being partly used for the purpose of business and partly for other purposes, or partly for effecting taxable supplies, including zero rated supplies, and partly for exempt supplies, shall be attributed to the purpose of business. You will be getting the benefit here. You will be getting the benefit here. Shall be attributed for the purpose of business, yeah, for effecting taxable supplies in the following manner, namely, in the following manner, namely. So now we will be discussing. Say step 1 is determination of common credit, that is TC, on capital goods. We have to find out TC on capital goods. Now 43(1)(a) is stating what? Capital goods exclusively used for non-business purpose. Capital goods exclusively used for non-business purpose, or for effecting क्या? Exempt supplies, or for effecting what? Exempt supplies. ITC shall not be taken. ITC shall not be taken. Capital goods exclusively used for non-business purpose or for effecting exempt supplies, the input tax credit shall not be taken. That is what? The amount of input tax, so if any capital goods A is there, if any capital goods A is there, and the same is used exclusively for effecting what? Exempt supplies, or the same is used exclusively for non-business use. It's used for non-business use. The amount of input tax will not be taken. So the amount of input tax in respect of capital goods used or intended to be used exclusively for non-business purpose, exclusively for what? Non-business purpose, or used or intended to be used exclusively for effecting exempt supplies, shall be indicated. Form GSTR2 is not operational now. Shall be indicated in Form GSTR3B, and the same shall not be credited to his electronic credit ledger. So this, we say that this is the invoice. We have purchased capital goods A, and this is used exclusively for what purpose? Exclusively for exempt supplies. This is used exclusively for exempt supplies. Hence, we won't be taking. No ITC will be taken here. So the amount of input tax in respect of capital goods used or intended to be used exclusively for non-business purpose or used or intended to be used exclusively for effecting exempt supplies shall be indicated in Form GSTR2 and GSTR3B and shall not be credited to his electronic credit ledger. The same will not be credited where? To his electronic credit ledger. Then next is, say, capital goods B. This is 43(1)(b). Capital goods B, we have purchased for rupees 10 lakhs. We have paid GST of 1,20,000 rupees, and they are exclusively used. They are exclusively used for what purpose? For effecting taxable supplies. They are exclusively used for effecting kya? Taxable supplies. So this 1,20,000 rupees will be credited where? In the electronic credit ledger. So here, capital goods used, exclusively used for effecting taxable supplies. Capital goods exclusively used for effecting taxable supplies, including zero rated supplies. Including zero rated supplies. Here, ITC shall be taken. Here we will be taking the input tax credit. So the amount of input tax, in respect of capital goods used or intended to be used exclusively for effecting supplies other than exempt supplies. Exclusively used for supplies other than exempt supplies. Yani they are used for taxable supplies. But including kya? Zero rated supplies shall be indicated in Form GSTR2 is not operational. The same will be indicated in Form GSTR3B, and the same shall be credited where? In the electronic credit ledger. So the amount of input tax will be credited where? In the electronic credit ledger. The amount of input tax will be credited where? In the electronic credit ledger. For capital goods which are exclusively used for effecting kya? Taxable supplies, including zero rated supplies. Then the other capital goods. These are what? Common capital goods. Common capital goods. So the amount of input tax, in respect of capital goods, the amount of input tax in respect of capital goods not covered under A and B above, the amount of input tax in respect of capital goods not covered under clause A and B above, that is capital goods which are intended or used or intended to be used commonly. They are used commonly for making taxable supplies as well as exempt supplies, business as well as non-business purpose. These are basically common capital goods. The amount of input tax denoted as A, it will be denoted as A, being the amount of tax reflected on invoice. The amount of tax reflected on invoice shall credit directly to the electronic credit ledger, and it will be directly credit to electronic credit ledger, and the validity of useful life of such goods shall extend up to kya? 5 years from the date of invoice of such goods. So we have purchased a capital good C. In invoice, the transaction value is 10 lakh rupees. And GST so paid is at rate of say 12%, 1,20,000 rupees. And this is common. So this 1,20,000 rupees denoted as A, the credit will be credited where? Credited where? In the electronic credit ledger. and useful life of capital goods, whatever the useful life of capital goods, shall extend up to क्या 5 years from date of invoice. Useful life will be taken extend to क्या 5 years from date of invoice. Are you getting? So here this 1,20,000 will be denoted as A. Now what happens is, however, where any, this is an amendment has been made with effect from 1/4/2020. This amendment has been made with effect from 1/4/2020. Remember the same. However, where any capital goods earlier covered under clause A, capital goods which is earlier covered under clause A. Earlier covered under clause A means earlier it was used exclusively for exempt supplies. Earlier it was used exclusively for exempt supplies. Earlier it was used exclusively for exempt supplies. Is subsequently covered under this clause. Yani now subsequently it is used for kya? Common purpose. Subsequently is used for common purpose. Say we have purchased capital goods earlier for say rupees 5 lakh and GST was paid 60,000. So here initially you haven't taken the credit. So now they are saying that input tax in respect of such capital goods denoted as A. Now this is denoted as A. This is denoted as A. Shall be credited to electronic credit ledger. Shall be credited where? To electronic credit ledger. And subject to the condition that the ineligible credit attributable to the period during which the capital goods were covered under A, during the period when the capital goods were exclusively used for effecting what the exempt supplies, denoted as TIE, denoted as T, ineligible credit, shall be calculated at rate of 5% points for every quarter or part thereof and added to the output tax liability of the tax period for which such credit is kya? Claimed. It will be added to the output tax liability. So in case it was used for say 1 year and 15 days for exclusively for exempt supplies. So 60,000 into 5% into 5 quarters. Why 5 quarters? For 1 year there are 4 quarters and for 15 days it's 1 quarter more. So 60,000 into 5% into 5 quarters. That is what? 15,000 rupees. That is 15,000 rupees. Same will be added. This is TIE. Will be added to the output tax liability. Earlier, what was happening was from 60,000, 15,000 was reduced and the remaining amount was credited in the electronic credit ledger. Now, entire 60,000 rupees will be credited in the electronic credit ledger and 15,000 is to be separately paid. 15,000 is to be separately paid. Now, this happens now leading to a higher reversal subsequently. So, however, where any capital goods earlier covered under clause A, where any capital goods earlier covered under clause A is subsequently covered under this clause. Now the same is subsequently covered under this clause. The input tax in respect of capital goods denoted as A, whatever the input tax in respect of this capital goods. Now this is 60,000 is the input tax denoted as A. The same shall be credited to the electronic credit ledger subject to the condition that ineligible credit which is attributable to the period during which the capital goods were exclusively used for what? The exempt supplies. Calculated at 5% points for every quarter or part thereof use shall be added to the output tax liability of the tax period in which the credit is what? Claimed. Are you getting? However, the amount of TIE, that is the ineligible credit, shall be computed separately for input tax credit of central tax, state tax, union territory tax, integrated tax. And the same will be declared in what? Form GSTR 3B. So you have to pay separately, determine that this is a CGST element, this is a SGST or UTGST element, or this is the IGST element of the reversal amount, which will be added to your output tax liability, and it will be declared in form GSTR 3B. And the provisions of section 18.4 will not be applicable. Now in case under section 18.4 it has been provided that if you are using a registered person is using say any capital goods for exempt supplies, or if opts for composition scheme, then he will have to pay an amount equal to the credit, which is what attributable to the such period. Exempt supplies, remaining amount of input tax credit is required to be paid by him, because now he is using for exempt supplies or for say under composition levy. So that provisions will not be applicable for an item of capital goods which was covered under clause A on its receipt shall not attract what the provisions of section 18.4, it is subsequently which has been covered in this clause. Now earlier it was covered under exempt and now it is covered under taxable supplies, then the provisions of what? Section 18.4 will not be applicable. Now here the aggregate of the amounts of A credited to the electronic credit ledger. So we will aggregate A under clause C in respect of common capital goods whose useful life remains during the tax period, be denoted as TC. So aggregate of common credit, that is A, it will be denoted as TC, and TC basically is what? Common credit in respect of all the capital goods. So here the aggregate amount of A credited to the electronic credit ledger under clause C in respect of common capital goods whose useful life remains during the tax period, to be denoted as TC, shall be the common credit in respect of such capital goods. It will be what? The common credit in respect of such capital goods. Then change from exclusive use for taxable including zero rated supplies to common use. So, capital goods earlier used for effecting taxable supplies. They are earlier used for effecting क्या? Taxable supplies, including zero rated supplies. They are now used, the common use. So, however, where any capital goods earlier covered under clause B are subsequently covered under clause C, the input tax credit claimed, this is also amendment, in respect of such capital goods shall be added to the output tax added to arrive the aggregate value of क्या? TC. So the input tax credit claimed in respect of such capital goods shall also be added to arrive at क्या? The aggregate value of क्या? TC. Then we will find out the monthly credit. TC divided by 60 is equal to TM. Step 2 is what? Determination of common credit during the useful life of capital goods for the tax period. This is the determination we are doing. The amount of input tax credit attributable to tax period on common capital goods during their useful life be denoted as TM. This will be denoted as monthly credit and calculated as what? TM is equal to what? TC divided by 60. TM is what? TC divided by 60. Then they have clarified, given an explanation. For removal of the doubt, it is clarified that useful life of capital goods shall be considered as 5 years. Useful life of capital goods shall be considered as 5 years from the date of invoice, and a said formula shall be applicable during the useful life of the capital goods. So this formula will be applicable during the useful life of capital goods. Here, useful life will be considered as what? 5 years from the date of invoice. An expression has been inserted which is providing that the useful life will be considered as what? 5 years from the date of invoice, and this formula TM, that is equal to TC divided by 60, the same will be applicable during what? The useful life of the capital goods. Earlier, prior to 1/4/2020, what they say is the amount of input tax credit at the beginning of tax period on all common capital goods whose useful life remains during the tax period. This is denoted as TR and shall be aggregate of TM of all such capital goods. Now this is no more required because we already considered credit of the all common capital goods. Now what happens is apportionment of the common credit to exempt supplies. Now it will be basically not TR, it will be TM. So the amount of common credit attributable towards exempt supplies denoted as TE, this is the common credit attributable to exempt supplies. Amount of common credit attributable to exempt supplies, as in case of input service or inputs also, we have denoted the same as TE. It will be what? The aggregate value of the exempt supplies during the tax period. Aggregate value of exempt supplies during the tax period, that is E. Total turnover in the state of the registered person during the tax period, state or union territory, that is F, into क्या? TR की जगह it must be what? TM. It must be now TM. So fundamentally, you have to find out TE. TE is equal to what? E upon F into क्या? TM. TM is what? The monthly common credit. Now this much amount of TE will be added to the output tax liability. This much amount of TE will be added where? In the output tax liability. Then further they are saying that where the registered person does not have any turnover during the said tax period, if he does not have any turnover during the said tax period, or the aforesaid information is not available, he does not have turnover, or the aforesaid information is not available, the value of E by F shall be calculated taking the values of E and F for the last tax period. If turnover details are not available, in that particular circumstance, we will take the value of E by F for the last tax period, for which the details of such turnover are available, previous to the month during which the said values of E and F is to be calculated. So where the registered person does not have any turnover during the said tax period, or the aforesaid information is not available, the value of E by F shall be calculated by taking the values E and F of the last tax period. Say for the month of July, you don't have turnover details. So what you will be taking? The turnover of what? The month of June. Last tax period's turnover will be was taken, for which details of turnover are available previous to the month during which the said value of E or upon F is to be calculated. As you are aware that exempt supplies, what is exempt supply? Nil rated supply या non-taxable supplies are also included in the ambit of exempt supply. So non-taxable supplies, on that excise duty is levied, or say VAT is levied, or say state excise duty is levied, or say CST is levied, central or say state excise duty, or say CST is levied. So that will not be included. Tax element, that is a tax element, a duty element, tax or duty element will not be included. Tax or duty element will not be included in the value of the exempt supply. So here the aggregate value of exempt supplies, the aggregate value of exempt supplies and the total turnover shall exclude the amount of any duty or tax levied under entry 84, that is the central excise duty, 92A, that is the central sales tax, 51 state excise duty, or 54 state VAT. Here also we are not including GST element. Here also what you won't be including in the turnover, duties and taxes, the same are to be what? Excluded. So it will, the aggregate value of exempt supply and the total turnover shall exclude the amount of any duty or tax levied under these enactments. Then the amount of TE, whatever is the amount of ITC, it is basically ITC attributable to exempt supply. ITC attributable to exempt supply, TE, along with the applicable interest, along with what applicable interest, during every tax period of the useful life of the concerned capital goods, be added to the output tax liability of the person making the credit. And here also we have to separately determine for CGST element, SGST element, UTGST element, and IGST element. We have to separately determine. That is, the amount of TE shall be computed separately. The amount of TE shall be computed separately for the input tax credit of the central tax, state tax, union territory tax, and integrated tax. And the same must be declared in form GSTR 3B. And here we have already discussed for this particular rule 42 as well as this rule 43. It is hereby declared that aggregate value of exempt supplies shall exclude in case if we have extended any loans, if we have given any advances or deposits, and we earn any interest or we earn any discount, then the interest and discount element will not be included where? In the value of the exempt supply. The value of services by way of accepting deposits, value of services by way of extending deposits, extending loans or advances, insofar as the consideration is represented by way of interest or discount, insofar as the consideration is represented by way of interest or discount, will not be regarded as exempt supply. However, for a banking company or a financial institution, including NBFC, for a banking company, financial institution, including NBFC, engaged in supplying services by way of accepting deposits, extending loans or advances. So here, for a banking company, financial institution engaged in supplying services by way of accepting deposits, extending loans or advances, the same will be regarded as exempt supply. The same will be regarded as what? Exempt supply. Then the value of supply of services by way of transportation of goods by a vessel from customs station of clearance in India to a place outside India. It won't be regarded as an exempt supply, though same has been made exempt, but it will not be regarded as an exempt supply. So the shipping lines will be also be entitled to take the input tax credit. So this has been given in explanation 1, exclusions from value of the exempt supplies. So this was about rule 43, which was dealing with manner of determination of input tax credit in respect of capital goods, how you will be determining the input tax rate in respect of capital goods, and reversals thereof. Now we'll be discussing certain practical issues, practical questions in relation to the same.